Let's look back, shall we? 6 goals, a comeback, a last-minute equaliser, and it was certainly exciting for the neutral. But what was the game against Pennybont like for Anthony Limbrick looking on?
Yeah, not as exciting for us as staff. I'm sure I can certainly say that. That's for sure. But look, we're happy to sort of get the job done, you could say, on that day. I think when you're 2-0 down at half-time, in a very tough game against an excellent Pennybont side, I must say, we've had some really good games against them and they pushed us all the way. That we had to make major changes at half-time, change the shape, change the personnel, and to get back in that game and show the character to be 3-2 up, I think was fantastic. We were disappointed with the last goal that we had, but I think when you're 2-0 down at half-time with probably the fanfare of the day, there felt like there was a lot of pressure on the game that day because of we only needed a point to win the title and etc. So I think to get that done and to see so many faces and people happy here at Park Hall, whether that be players, families as well, like the staff, the chairman, the owner, I think to see everybody so happy was brilliant, and we're glad that we could get that over the line and do that for them. So all in all, we've got to be happy with the day, but knowing that we can definitely improve on the pitch with the performance that we showed on Saturday.
And as far as trophies are concerned, 1 down, 1 still available. Of course, it's the JD Welsh Cup on Sunday. The double is still very much alive.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not thinking about the double as such. We're thinking about this game on Sunday, which I think Colwyn Bay, they've showed how good they can be. They've showed the teams that they've beaten. I thought they were fantastic against Connors Quay. They'll be bringing a big fan base to this game. I think everybody will want us to lose that game. Everybody, thing will be stacked against us. I think everyone wants to see the champions get beaten in that match. So I think this could arguably be one of our toughest games of the season, or if not the toughest game. I think we're playing against a very well organised team who have had a bounce since the new manager's come in. We've got a lot of respect here for the manager, Evo. He's been a fantastic TNS player, legend as a player and won a lot of trophies as an assistant manager as well. So we've got a lot of respect for him here. We certainly done our prep on the opposition this week as much as we have done, if not more, due to the fact that we're playing them, and we want to make sure we win the game and hopefully get through to the final. But we're under no illusion how tough this game is going to be, and I think it's a great game for us to get back to after the celebrations from the weekend, I must say that.
And they are a JD Cymru North side, of course. How has the preparations gone in terms of finding out about them and what they will bring to the game?
Yeah, good. I mean, we've got a lot of footage of them. We've got sort of 4 or 5 games now that we've sifted through and looked over with our video analysis as well as the staff. So that gives us enough to go into that game and be prepared. We shouldn't be looking at them and not knowing any of the players or the styles or maybe the system changes that they might make. In terms of whether they play a 4 or a 5 for the game, and we'll do our research on them as much as we can, and we have got enough information on them to give us an idea of what they'll be like. You can't always prepare for every single eventuality. I think probably the ones that we won't be able to prepare for are more like the atmosphere, the fans that are there, the pitch that might not be as good as maybe what we're used to in terms of passing the ball and being able to play, but we have to deal with that. And in any cup competition, when you get to this stage, you've got to be willing to be adaptable and flexible, and we'll be looking to do that. But we're certainly, the message to the players is we want to finish this part of the season strong, and by no means this is a really important game for a Sunday for us and the club.
And as far as the Cymru North is concerned, Colwyn Bay won't get promoted this season. They won't go down either. So they will go into the game on Sunday with absolutely nothing to lose, but everything to gain.
Yeah, well listen, they've had a successful run in these cup competitions so far. I don't think you can beat the old champions Connors Quay without being a very good side, and we've watched that game and they were very good that game and they deserved that win. So I think they'll be looking to do that again. I think there'll be a huge crowd behind them on a pitch, like we said. We're not sure of the level of the pitch, so I think it'll be a great game. I think it'll be a great game for the neutral as well, and we're hoping that it's not too much of a spectacle because we want to get the job done, but we're very respectful of the opposition and the opposition manager in particular.
And in reaching the semi-final stage of the competition, we have yet to play a team in the top flight. People would say we've had easy draws, but based on the games that we have played so far, we know that teams will raise their game against the New Saints.
Yeah, of course. Listen, we're not in control of the draws and who we play. All we can do is put the team together, prepare right, and try and beat the teams that are in front of us, and that's what we're going to do. So we don't spend any time worrying about whether it's a good draw or a bad draw. We just make sure we plan and prepare properly for whatever level the team we play, which we have done in this competition. And that's important, I think, to give the cup competition the respect it deserves, but also knowing that for us, it's a really important competition and it's a big game for us on Sunday, and that's how we'll be treating it.
Do you have the starting 11 already in mind, or are you tempted to perhaps shuffle the pack a little and give some of the, if we could use that term, fringe players a start?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, because I think in the last few games we've made changes at half time. For example, in the game on the weekend we made 2 changes, slight injury concern as well. A couple of people came in and did well in those games. Also the week before we made a couple of changes, came back into the game late against Ballast. So there's definitely places to play for. There's a few places that I think will be up for grabs, and a few that are probably nailed on as well. So the answer to that question is yes. I think there's really good competition at the moment with other players that are putting pressure on the ones that are starting, as well as a couple of injuries that we've got might open up the spaces for others to come in and fill those spots. But it's up to those players as well, not just to keep the shirt, but to come in when called upon and put themselves in that shop window to be starting and playing every week.
And with such a strong squad and only 11 players able to start each game, how do you keep everyone happy? Or is it really a case of focus on the game, hope to win, go for the win, and ultimately that's what it's all about?
Yeah, well, I've never been a big fan of the saying of keeping everyone happy, because it's about, I think, being honest with them and saying why they're not in the team, how we can make them better, what they can do to get better and to get in the team. So there'll be a lot of players who aren't playing, who aren't happy. That's always, whether you're in this league, in the Premier League, in the international stage, wherever it is, those players aren't happy. And I think if you're a player who is happy and is not playing, you're probably in the wrong game. So I think it's not a case of keeping them happy, but being honest with them, I always find, is the best way. And if they're not in the team, telling them why they're not in the team, and being respectful of that if they're training hard and working hard, what they can do better to get back into the team. So I think that's very important to notice. We actually don't have a big squad. Do you know what I mean? We've got a lot of good players that are in and around that starting 11, and I think you could argue maybe 3, 4, if not 5 players could argue to be regular starters, even though they're not starting at this moment in time, if that makes sense. So you could swap 1 or 2 players and you're not sure who your best team is for those 3, 4, or maybe even sometimes 5 positions. So I think that's a good thing, which shows that core of players is really strong, but can also cause you problems, because that means you've got good players who aren't playing. So it's a good problem to have, but one that we try and manage regularly and just try to be as honest and open with the players as we can.
And although we do play on grass a number of times during the course of the season, we haven't played at Bellevue for some years now. How has that affected the preparations?
Yeah, well, we prepare right, so we'll be training on grass this week. We've already had 1 session on grass so far. We'll be having another one tomorrow on grass as well, and we want to try and replicate that grass pitch as best we can as the real pitch. So yeah, we try, and it is different than playing on the AstroTurf, but even sometimes when we're playing on the 3Gs, sometimes the 3Gs are different to each other. So I think that means that the players are adaptable and flexible, but it's definitely can be a different game. I mean, we played Flint on that Friday night game and the pitch was really struggling, nothing to do with Flint, but due to the weather conditions, so that was difficult. And we've also played at other grass pitches during the year, and it's proved a different challenge for us, but one that we like. The players do like playing on grass, and as long as it's a decent enough surface where we can pass the ball, then we're happy with that.
And finally, as always, what's the availability of the players? Yeah,
the availability is John Routledge, unfortunately, still out. He's been a big miss for us over the last few weeks. Ryan Astl's come off at half-time in the game with a knock. We're not sure if he's going to be available. Apart from that, it's been good to have Keston Davies back in, and Blaine Hudson will be back available as well.